Hey, it's Ike here. I'm just going to be doing a video that's a bit different, but hopefully she'll be a bit interesting to some of you who like the older gens. As Battlespot Premier League is coming up, I thought that in the spirit of freeing GBU, I'd showcase my favourite GBU team, do a bit of an analysis on it, like how it's constructed and stuff, and go over some replays. Basically, this team is pretty much a bulky offense with some very good Pokemon. The general core is Latios, Conch, Suicune. These bottom six are just 5 Pokemon are just very strong Pokemon in general in the meta. Normally you'd have a Thundurus I over Thundurus T due to Thundurus I being kind of broken due to Prankster in GBU, but Thundurus T has a niche in that it checks Thundurus I due to Volt Absorb and also hits a bit harder. So we have that is one of the techs on this team, and the second one is Mamoswine. Mamoswine is very good against it's good against certain types of teams, generally ones with like high drag spam or stuff like that. So like Mamoswine dissuades or checks dragons, which are otherwise very dangerous, like stuff like Banded Dragonite and Scarf Garchomp are going to be wary of, because Mamo can pick them off pretty easily with Ice Shard. So I'll go through the team anyways, from the top to the bottom, and then we'll go through some replays. I'm going to turn down. This is a good song, but well, a good tune. It's from Super Mario Galaxy, but I will talk like member through member. So this Mamo, just a standard slash Mamoswine. Nothing really too special about it. Basically, Earthquake, Ice Shard, an Icicle Spear, and Stealth Rock. This is just the standard set. Stealth Rock allows you to break Dragonite's multi-skill. It pretty much breaks all sashes. It can help you chip certain Pokemon in the back, particularly Thundurus Incarnate is one. And Mamo is pretty good lead against Thundurus I as well, which gives it another benefit. Icicle Spear generally used over Icicle Crash on all Mamos. It hits through Prankster Sub from Fundi, so if you're using Icicle Crash, Fundi can just can Prankster Sub until you miss. For example, or I mean, you can use Ice Shard, I guess, on Prankster Sub, but that's like, well, not brilliant. So Icicle Spear, great for like breaking through opponent substitutes. You can sometimes see like Sub Garchomp is another one, especially with opposing with Tyranitar. You can use Sandveil, so Icicle Spear can be really good for that. And yeah, I mean, most of the other dragons don't use Sub that much, but yeah, mainly one's Garchomp and Fund Eye, so you really want Icicle Spear. Ice Shard just, great priority, picks off Latios, picks off Hydreigon, picks off Dragonite, Garchomp, opposing Thundurus. These are the main ones. So this, obviously, like the second member here is Latios. You might not think this is a special Latios set, given it just looks like Life Orb standard with almost standard coverage, but actually this is not quite the standard Latios, due to it having Surf, and the Surf is a perfectly fine move. It hits stuff like Hippowdon. It hits generally well neutrally as well. With Pokemon, it hits Mamoswine, which otherwise could potentially take it on. Something else. T-Tar is a big one that Surf hits quite a bit harder, especially on Life Orb, than non non-thing, and it hits Gliscord. Though you can use Draco Meteor, you kind of want to avoid using Draco unless you absolutely have to. And yeah, it's also good on versus opposing rain. You can use their rain against them with boosted surfs from Latios. They're pretty good. But yeah, anyways, the standard generally is Draco, Psyshock, Dragon Pulse, and either Dragon Pulse or Surf, and then Hidden Power Fire. The problem with Hidden Power Fire is that if you look at the IV spreads, okay, it doesn't have a HP Fire IV, but if I was to go, oh, it doesn't even show it. Hidden Power Fire. What you'll notice is that the HP Fire IVs, you cannot have 31 in your speed, so you'll always be slower than opposing Latios. So this Latios actually is a Latios check. Surf, yeah, it's back to normal. So yeah, you outspeed most opposing Latioses by 1 point. You know, Life Orb, Expert Belt, specs, and stuff like this, and it actually comes into some of the games I'm going to show you, or 1 or 2 of them. Conqueror, interesting Conqueror spread. It's easy to live a Banded Outrage from Dragonite, as well as obviously Banded Chomp Outrage and stuff like that, and then you can go for a strong payback. I mean, it's not going to do too much damage, but it's always good to live these hits. If you can live a Banded Outrage from D-Knight, then you can Mach Punch, and then from Mach Punch you'll be able to KO with Mamoswine, for example. So it's always nice to have those, even if you can like struggle to switch in. But more importantly, this conch is here to bait in opposing Latios. It lives a Life Orb, Psyshock, or Draco from Latios, and then Payback into Mach Punch will always KO it. I mean, Payback is a roll on its own, but with Mach Punch it'll guarantee KO. Citrus of Guts, interesting combination, but actually it's not really commonly used in GBU, but basically the principle behind it is that when you're in the 1v1 versus opposing Suicune, if they see that you're not Flame Orb, they'll probably try and burn you with Scald. And if this was Iron Fist or Sheer Force Conch, which does run around in GBU, basically you get fucked over. So this like kind of baits Suicune to burn. Then you also have the Citrus Berry recovery, and yeah, then you can start like bulking up and doing super strong fucking moves on this. Go on. Not much more to say about Conch. It checks opposing Tyranitar, which some of the teams struggles with, especially Latios and Suicune. It's good against Conch of its own to an extent, and yeah, the tech for Latios is just Conch is just such a good Pokemon in general, so it's always nice to have on your team. Suicune, another staple of like good stuff teams. This is a standard set, Scald, Ice Beam, Rest, CM. It's there to check certain Pokemon. It lives a 2 Life Orb Extra Drills, Earthquakes, or +2 Life Orb EQ from Extra Drill in matchups that necessarily maybe you don't want to bring Conqueror or want to use Conqueror earlier in the matchup, which can often happen. Conch is very good against T-Tar, but you can you can have it in range of opposing Drill, and then if they have like a Chopper Berry or something on that Drill, maybe you lose your Conqueror, and so but you can still have Suicune to check versus Sand. Which is very important. The speed EVs, they speed creep slow opposing Suicune, Rotom, and Cresselia. It's just like a few like speed creeping EVs, and the special attack. It's just for OKing opposing Salamence, and then also ensuring the KOs on like a bulky D-Knight after Stealth Rock or a Garchomp. after rocks as well. It doesn't KO Garchomp guaranteed without stealth rock. So, but that's fine. You can live 2 hits from Chomp with this bold EV spread, and then obviously you have the rest of Chesto, Calm Mind, Wars. Calm Mind can set up on a lot of Pokemon, and then you just start sweeping the shit out of the opponent's team. This is incidentally why you want Life Orb Psyshock. Well, one of the 2 reasons why Latios generally runs Psyshock over Psychic, and is why you use the Psyshock calculation in versus the Conqueror payback. Because you otherwise, like, you're not going to be able to hit Calm Mind Coon very hard. If they got like a few Calm Minds up on you, then your Psychic's suddenly doing nothing, and the other one is Chansey. Yeah, Chansey doesn't care about Latios unless you have Life Orb Psyshock or Spec Psyshock. So you almost always using this, and then obviously Latios, Conqueror, Suicune, these are, and Thundurus Incarnate are like the goats of GBU, or like some of the best Pokemon. And then you have like stuff like Dragonite, Garchomp. I'm trying to think what else is good. Scizor, like they're easily like top 10. Cresselia, if I can see it as well, is very good. So this team doesn't deal with Cresselia that well. It has payback on Conqueror, which is okay for Crest, but obviously it's not going to KO. But like strong Specs moves, Scizor is there for Crest as well, and this Calm Mind. Calm Mind Rest Suicune is also there. So it does have some troubles against, this team does have some troubles against like Fast Calm Mind Psyshock or something like that, but generally you'd use like, it's hard to get the momentum going on this when you have stuff like Banded U-Turn and Specs T-Bolt from Thundurus. Anyways, we'll go on to Fund. Fund, her speed is to outspeed max speed Gliscor. Even though this doesn't have Specs HP Ice, HP Flying is kind of like a decent neutral stab mood that does a lot of damage. It OHKOs Bulky Conqueror always, for example, and then yeah, the Spadef, it's 4 living Spec Psyshock from Latios, as well as like the defense is 4 living Scarf Outrage from Garchomp. But yeah, just like the rest of this, like, it's just particularly calculated for OHKOing certain threats with each coverage move. So T-Bolt will OHKO Thunderous Eye with no bulk. Then Volt Switch is not there for that's just there for strong momentum. It will also T-Bolt will also OHKO Suicune unless it's like AV. Specs Focus Blast will OHKO non-Chople T-Tar always, which is the other one, and then HP Flying for OHKOing Conqueror. This one's very very strong, but also you know, it has some Pokemon can trade with it, mainly dragons. But yeah, you kind of choose between HP Flying and HP Ice, and then obviously you have Focus Blast can always miss. So you have that, and then lastly we have Scizor. Scizor lives is EV to live a Specs or Electric Dem T-Bolt from Modest Thundurus Incarnate. Speed is just a speed creep of a Scizor, basically. You know, sometimes it comes into play that being faster than opposing Scizor is a good thing, or being faster than stuff like Umbreon, I guess. You know, not too important. And then rest is just like Aerial Ace. It's just another way to deal with Conk. A Bullet Punch U-Turn, of course, standard. And then Quick Attack can kind of be better with this Banded thing. With Banded Scizor, you can kind of sweep in the late game. But yeah, if you're using Banded Bullet Punch versus Suicune or Thundurus, you can use Quick Attack instead, which will do more damage to those Pokemon. So yeah, I'll go through a few battles anyways. This is me playing Puff Killer, a well-known a well-known BSS player, probably the third best Usum player in GBU. Obviously, he's not as well known in GBU. I think I just note here that I can't even remember what I brought, but I'm assuming I brought Conqueror. I led Mamoswine. Mamoswine's solid here. Maybe I just get Stealth Rock up turn 1. Yeah. It basically, the reason you get Stealth Rock up here for the Volk and the Cloister, it also breaks Breloom Sash. And Mamo is also good as a counter lead to Breloom because it's faster and you can just Icicle Spear. Another reason you have Icicle Spears to deal with Breloom, even though Breloom can Mac Punch, but killing Breloom for in exchange for Sash when the team doesn't really have good. It has Suicune as a rest absorber, but for the most part it relies on just Mamoswine and general threats on the team. Specs Fund coming in. I know that his Suicune just lives. That's fine. So basically that chip's really nice. Hydro Pump, Extreme Speed, Ice Beam. Really interesting Coon set. This is like an over Coon set. Conk, he misses Pump. That's not too important. I thought he was going to rest actually. I would have got activated my Citrus Berry, but yeah, at this point it's like fucking over. Even if that was Gem. I just read Guts as well. He probably thinks he can win here, but like Thunder is just going to come out and click T-Bolt. The reason I don't click Mac is in case he like, I don't know. I could have just clicked Mac. But yeah, pretty much get up the Stealth Rock, which fucks over the rest of his team, and win the game. This game's versus Serene Grace. Not a well-known GBU player, but like I think he's like the head of the, well, was the head of the PU community. So yeah, I just literally went onto my replay stats and picked like every game that like looks kind of decent. I won most of these, I'm pretty sure, just because this team is like pretty damn good. He disrespects me pretty hard with Blaziken here. He probably went for like an SD or HJK, but obviously Mamo is faster than Blaziken. In most cases, he's going to be adamant on Blaziken probably. Latios, I'll let him Draco me. I'm going to click Icicle Spear. Do I get 3 hits? Yeah. So this game pretty simple. Like from this point, like I'm just gonna Quake continuously. Do I have Fund? Probably. Yep. Fund is pretty decent in the matchup, just because it has Focus Blast is really difficult for him to switch into. And Fund my Fund actually checks his Coon as well. So yeah. That's for Serene Grace. I played Mishimono in a best of 3. These are, I bought this 2 games out of 3. Mamo versus Sizzle lead. He actually gets a good lead matchup, but this Mamo I just bought it to get Rocks up and to dissuade Breloom lead. I just go straight into Suicune here. Bullet punches. See its Life Orb. I know I can Calm Mind for free. He SDs, that's fine though. I know I'm going to be able to live. Didn't realize he had Bug Bite. Probably a mistake on my part, but that's fine. Do I lose this game? I must click Icicle Spear. Oh, I clicked Stealth Rock. Oh, really smart play. Basically, I was smarter here than I thought. Basically, Stealth Rock dissuades Volcarona from coming in, and I know I'm going to be brought down to my Sash anyways. And there's nothing much I can do against the rest of his team. Brings Lati, and I think I'm faster here. The reason I'm faster is because he has HP Fire. Mish doesn't know this. He's like hacks Speed Tide BG. But of course it is not a BG, it is a GG. Thanks to, and that's why Latias can be important. The speed, so you don't have to deal with speed ties. Dragon Pulse Side Shot wins the game. Um, and then this is another one. He's bringing. I think this is the same matchup actually. I bring Conk versus this bulk up. Am I going to? He's psychic, but he's not life orb. I use payback and KO him. I like Psyshock over Psychic. It's generally better, but you can use Psychic, of course, in standard. Yeah, he's not going to KO because Conk is just so fat. I'm going to Drain Punch, hit all back. And then, yeah, the game's over. It's like, well, GG's. And when when Conk is just so good. That's why you use Conk, by the way. This is me versus London. London, well-known Tours player. And so most of this footage from my GBU tournament. So yeah, he leads T-Tar versus Latios. I'm faded the pursuit basically, which is why just bringing Conk. Even though I have Conk, I was just like afraid of losing that, and I make a hard read that he's going to go into Latios there or Gliscor or one of the two. That's why I clicked Ice Punch, and unfortunately, oh no, this is a completely different team I used. Okay, never mind. This team, I was like looking at that. Okay, yeah, see, classic Mamo versus Breloom lead. I'm not afraid of Mac Punch. I'd rather him Mac and I kill Breloom. But yeah, here I'm pretty sure. Do I get a Stealth Rock? Oh no, I just switch hard into Fund. I didn't have to switch into Fund, I think. I don't Volt here. Yeah. I guess keeping Mamo's Sash intact is pretty good for Dragonite. Now I know he's not got D-Knight. I don't need to be as yeah, conservative with my Mama's fine. I can just throw it away. Did he burn me with Scald? No. I keep that just to Ice Shard Latios, and I go into my own Coon. Turns out my Coon's faster than his Coon, so I'm winning this game. One of the reasons you want to speed creep with a Coon is for this sort of thing. He's got the same set as, no, pretty much the same set as me. Probably, he might have Rest or Sleep Talk, something like that. Like, either ways, this game's over because I just rest and I win the game. But yeah, I thought I'd give you just a rundown of this team. I showed you a few replays. Give it a try. I'll put the PokePaste in the description and play some GBU, man, because GBU is fucking awesome. Cheers for tuning in.